I'm playing something almost every week, and sometimes I want to talk about it and give you a vertical slice. So stick with me for some lightning reviews. This week on the chopping block. This week I've been playing Nikoderiko and the Magical World, a Director's Cut. Back in February, when I was on my month-long business trip, I was looking for Steam Deck-friendly titles that also lean towards the colorful, relaxing, or those with simple mechanics to counter the mind-numbing stress I was dealing with. I initially played it for a level and thought it was pleasant, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for at the time. Recently, I came back to it, and what better time than when it's been released in physical form for the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 5. Nikoderiko is a cartoony, colorful animal platformer reminiscent of the Mascot era that brought us several titles that also serve as inspiration for its various elements. Actually, saying it serves as inspiration might be a bit charitable, depending on your mood. A more cynical individual might say that Nikoderiko saw the local graveyard of Mascot platformers of years past, grabbed a shovel, and proceeded to piece together a necromantic steed with which it could scour the land for gameplay mechanics. The most immediate games you can see serving as foundations are Donkey Kong Country, Crash Bandicoot, and Rayman Origins, with a smattering of Sonic the Hedgehog to fill in the attitude and vocal style.
Hey! Great flight. I miss adventures.
Somehow, I'm not having fun.
I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. Make sure you Google me that you have safe search on.
You play as Nico the Mongoose, and if you do co-op, you can play as his fellow treasure hunter Luna. I only know the second one's name thanks to Google searches. The opening cutscene sets the premise of the story as far as you need to be concerned by it. Nico and Luna go on an adventure, find treasure, and then it gets stolen by Baron Grimbald. You endeavor to stop him and his Cobra minions by the tried and trusted method of moving to the right, or in the case of some levels, into the foreground and background. Anyway, Donkey Konky, in addition to aping several elements of other platforming franchises, also has collectibles scattered around the level, such as letters to spell out Nico's name, or keys, coins, and assorted other shiny items, partly for the sake of ensuring that the 100% completion crowd is distracted from the end of Gran Turismo 2. The other part is to unlock harder bonus levels, character models, a soundtrack library, and other nice-to-haves. Speaking of nice to have, I find the game's pacing and intensity level to be just at my ideal level. I've said in the past with my Pizza Tower and Klonoa reviews that my ideal platformers aren't ones that incentivize high-speed blistering action or twitch responses. That's not to say Crashy Bandy doesn't occasionally demand precision or quick reactions from time to time, but the overall mood seems to lean towards what I'd describe as relaxed but attentive. That's further encouraged by the game's life system, or rather lack therein. Understanding that in-game live systems were primarily initiated to fleece kids for as many quarters as possible, and it's an outdated and irrelevant mechanic for games in the home market, cough, Nintendo, cough, Rayman to Layman has no such practice. That's not to say you can't die. I mean, I'm such a shitter at platformers that I earned the achievement for dying 10 times in a single level. But instead, the game tracks checkpoints and just casually lets you go as many times as is needed. For those that do want some degree of perfection to chase though, each level also tracks how many times you died on your best run. Mechanics out of the way, this might be one of my favorite platformers that I've played in a while. As I've said, the pacing is mellow but still engaging, and other elements like the visual style are charming, colorful, and appealing. The characters are well designed and fortunately don't open their mouths to the point of being grating, and the controls are solid and consistent. Trust me, I die a lot playing this game, but it's always something I can attribute to my own shortcomings rather than a quirk or failure in the controls themselves. It's not a perfect package though, but then again, what game is? Some levels could have been better paced in their checkpoint systems, especially when taking into account the hidden bonus levels, which I'd argue also should have counted as checkpoints upon successful completion. Additionally, some of the boss fights can become stale before their own fight ends, often with the player figuring out the very simple pattern of attack and behavior, and then just going through the motion of waiting for them to be vulnerable again. Nikoderiko, depending on your own interpretation, is definitely taking influence from a medley of other titles, but it's so confident in its execution that it starts to feel like its own entity. There's nothing at all terribly new or earth-shattering in its runtime. It just takes what's been done before and distills it into an enjoyable and competent game through and through. Fans of Donkey Kong Country would be the most at home here, but there's plenty to enjoy for most anyone who's had fun with a platformer over the years. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'd like to see if I can put out a second video today without burning myself out. Hey, thanks for sticking around all the way to the end. Remember that I give away Steam keys with my regular weekly uploads, and all you have to do to enter is leave a comment and have contact info on your YouTube profile. But as always, thanks for watching and keep your head on your shoulders.